Hi everyone, welcome back to class. This is Ajay Shah. So I hope before watching this video, you people must have seen my two of previous videos. That is, the first video was on basic introduction of UPSC, and second video was there to explain the pattern and structure of UPSC. Now this video is going to be there for the knowledge of subjects in UPSC. So as we all know, there are three stages of UPSC: prelims, mains, and interview. And so it is often said that almost all the subjects under the sun, they are part of UPSC. And you name any subject and I will tell you that subject is somehow related to some of the topics in UPSC. And so when we start preparing for this examination, we must know what are the subjects that we need to handle for this examination. Now what I have seen that even the people who are at mature stage, they are also confused about subjects in UPSC, and that is especially that has become more complicated after emergence of mains examination, the recent pattern of mains examination, where we have 4 papers of GS. So let us start and we will see one by one what are the subjects those are there in UPSC. So first we will start with the prelims examination. Now in prelims examination, the subjects which are there in prelims examination, they are exclusive in nature. They are very well known subject of our academics. And one more thing is there, when we talk about the subjects in prelims examination, then all the subjects they are having equal weightage, and it is very difficult to say that which subject is having more weightage, and all the subjects, they have more or less equal weightage as far as prelims examination is concerned. And so in this prelims examination, the very first subject is polity. Now, when we say polity in UPSC, we are expected to study Indian polity. Indian polity in the sense that we are expected to study Constitution of India, the parliamentary setup of India, the executive, judiciary, whatever we have to study, that we have to study the polity in context of India only, and we are not supposed to study Constitution of Britain, Japan, etc. They are certainly there in our syllabus, but that is simply for reference. But our core attention will be there on political setup of India, polity of India, and that is why this subject is also known as Indian polity. And if we talk about the weightage, then approximately 20 to 25 questions we can see out of 100 questions every year in UPSC. But again, this is not a thumb rule. I am just telling you about a trend. Now, second paper that is there in prelims examination is about history. Again, that is a well-known subject. So again, here when we talk about history, the meaning of history in prelims is Indian history. Now, what is the meaning of Indian history? That we have to confine ourselves only and only towards history of India. World history is not there in prelims examination. World history is there, but that is in mains examination. Now, if we can just divide Indian history and prelims examination, then we will see that in Indian history we have to study ancient India. So ancient India, that is all about Indus Valley civilization, Vedic period, Gupta dynasty and all. Then we have to study medieval India, that is Mughal period up to the advent of British. Then we have to study modern India, that is modern India, which starts roughly we can say with the advent of European powers in India. And then we have art and culture. Now, among all of these bits of syllabus in UPSC, the emphasis in prelims examination is more on modern India. So modern India takes the lion's share as far as syllabus of history is concerned. But I told you this is not a thumb rule, because it has been seen that in the recent paper of UPSC, that is 2019, there were many questions from ancient India. So as a fresher, all of you should take all these subjects, that is ancient India, medieval India, with equal level of seriousness. Then the third subject is geography. Now when we say geography, it is very difficult to split Indian geography from the world geography, because geography is more or less, it's a kind of global subject, fine. But still here there should be emphasis on Indian geography. But apart from Indian geography, we also have to study all the geographical features of entire world, that is the major oceans and all. So latitude, longitude, these are there in this subject. And then we have environment. Some people club environment along with geography, but we can see environment as a separate subject, because nowadays UPSC is giving a lot of gravity to this paper. Again, environment is very general in nature, and we have to study here subjects, topics like biodiversity, ecology, pollution, ozone depletion, etc. Then we have general science. All right, general science. In general science, we have physics, then we have chemistry, then we have biology, and then we have science and tech. But here again, the emphasis of UPSC, the stress of UPSC is more on bio and physics and chemistry. These subjects are not very important in UPSC nowadays. But again, my assertion will be same. This is not a thumb rule. It is a possibility that UPSC might give a surprise and UPSC might ask so many questions from physics and chemistry and even from science and tech in the prelims examination itself. As far as science and technology is concerned, in UPSC prelims it has been seen that the trend is more to ask questions from current affairs in the area of science and tech. Then we have economics, and again economics means we have to focus on Indian economy. So here you have to study topics like banking system of India, taxation system of India, fiscal system of India. World economics is certainly there. For example, we also have to study stuffs like WTO, IMF, etc. But focus is more on Indian economy. And then at last we have current affairs. So current affairs is having no syllabus, and current affairs can move throughout the syllabus. For example, say in polity, if there is a lot of noise with respect to judiciary, then chances are there that there will be a question on judiciary from current affairs. From science, if lot of news is there with respect to pandemic, then chances are there that there will be questions on communicable diseases, virus, etc. If say India witness a tsunami, then there can be a question from tsunami in geography. So current affairs is very important, not from the point of view that there are direct questions from current affairs, but it is also important from the point of view that even in the static portions like geography, polity, science, influence is there, and current affairs acts as a influencer. Fine, it influences basically the questions. So this is all about prelims examination paper 1, that is GS. Okay, but here one more thing that I would like to add at this point of time, that syllabus of all of these subjects, that is polity, history, geography, environment, general science, economics, these are only up to class 12th. We can say that UPSC also breaches the domain of class 12th, but more or less subject is confined up to class 12th only. And in general science, the syllabus is confined only up to class 10th with few exceptions. So there are few chapters from class 11th and 12th also that we are expected to study, but more or less syllabus is confined toward class 10th only. So this is all about the subjects which are there in prelims examination. Now let us focus towards the paper 2 of prelims examination, that is called aptitude. So I hope you people must be knowing what is the meaning of aptitude. So aptitude is a very different paper. And in prelims examination, I told you in the last video that in prelims examination in paper 2, that is CSAT, Civil Services Aptitude Test, this paper is only of qualifying in nature. You just need to cross the hurdle of 33%. Now let us see the syllabus of aptitude. So here we have quant, that is mathematics. Then in mathematics we have chapters like mensuration, geometry, number system, quadratic equation, algebra, probability, etc. Then we have logical reasoning. Logical reasoning is all about intelligence, questions on puzzle, family trees, series, coding, etc. Then we have data interpretation, which is all about decoding the pie chart, decoding graphs, tables, etc. And then at last we have verbal ability, that is English. In English you will get questions like reading comprehension. So one more point that you should notice here is that as far as quant is concerned, then quant again in UPSC is only up to 10th level. That means you'll have to study maths only up to 10th level. So the people who have a phobia for mathematics, they need not worry. Now let us move towards mains examination. Mains stage. Now as far as mains stage is concerned, let me make it very clear that in mains subject we have topics rather than subjects. So there are many bits in UPSC mains examination where we can say that this is a topic and this is not a subject. Now apart from this, let me make it very clear, whatever subjects we have seen till now in prelims examination, They all are by default part of mains examination with extension. Now, what is the meaning of extension? For example, polity is there in prelims examination, and polity is also there in mains examination. But in mains examination, you will see extension of polity. For example, there is a topic called comparison of Indian constitution with the outer constitution that is there in the mains examination. Then apart from this, topics like federalism, or topics in which we are expected to go deep into a kind of public administration, that is part of polity in mains examination. Similarly, take the example of geography. So geography is there in prelims also, geography is there in mains also, but in mains, apart from the syllabus in prelims, we have some extra stuff, some extension. For example, we have a topic that is called the factors which are there for industries, development of industries. That is a particular topic in the mains examination. Similarly, in science and tech is there in prelims also, but in science and tech, if you talk about the mains examination, then main syllabus clearly specify that in science and tech you have to study robotics, space technology, intellectual property rights, etc. Okay, so this is the first thing, that whatever is the syllabus of prelims examination, that you need to carry in the mains examination. Now here in this slide, I am going to talk about those topics or those subjects which are part of exclusive mains examination. I am repeating the term exclusive mains examination, which is not there in prelims examination. So the first subject here is world history. Okay, so I told you just before that world history is there in mains examination, mains phase, and not in prelims phase. But in world history, we also have to study political philosophies like communism, capitalism, liberalism. These are the philosophies, the ruling philosophies of the world that we are expected to study in this world history also. Okay. Then we have a topic that is called post-independence history of India. So normally for a student of history, what is the span of history? So normally if you see the school days, then people read only up to the independence of India. That is the meaning of history for them. But here UPSC has added one more dimension of history. That is, you need to study history from post-independence era also. For example, the important and significant events in post-independence India, like Green Revolution, economic liberalization, and emergency. These are the important events of post-independence India that also you have to study in mains examination. Then you have to study Indian society. So Indian society is more or less close to the subject that is sociology. So Indian society, again, you'll have to read topics like communalism, secularism, caste, religion, women, poverty, etc. Then we have governance, and governance is more or less very close to public administration, like role of civil services in India. Now, what is the difference between polity in the prelims and governance in this mains examination? So, polity will be more concerned on text, but governance will be more concerned on polity in action. For example, in prelims examination in polity, you will study what is the meaning of fundamental right, but in governance, you'll have to study what are the challenges and how a fundamental right like right to education, say for example, is being implemented in our country. So basically you have to study here how the government function in the structure of polity. Then we have international relations. So this subject need no explanation. We have to study here relation of India with major power like USA, China, Japan, Russia, etc. And here we also have to study diaspora. Then we have agriculture and land reforms. Nowadays agriculture is very important, and in fact in this year, that is UPSC prelims 2019, there were a lot of questions from agriculture, and we expect that now UPSC will take more interest in the subject because of recent debate surrounding around the farm bill and all. So in agriculture you have to study stuffs like cropping pattern, irrigation, okay, MSP and all this you have to study in agriculture, food processing units and all. In land reforms you have to study how India has went through land reforms, what are the challenges of land reforms, etc. Then you have to study disaster management. Again, this is a topic which is very clear. The next, internal security. So internal security is also there in UPSC. So internal security, that is all you have to study about, like left wing extremism, terrorism, money laundering, cyber crime, etc. Then at last we have ethics and integrity, which is nothing but which is a combination of moral science, philosophy, and psychology. Now, among all the subjects that I told you that I listed out in this main stage, ethics and integrity is the subject which is only subject which has the biggest weightage. Now, ethics in UPSC is there for 250 marks, but other subjects which we just seen, these subjects have weightage like 20 marks, 30 marks, 40 marks, 50 marks, but ethics is having the highest weightage, that is 250 marks. So that makes it very clear what is the importance of ethics. And then at last we have languages. So language paper is there in UPSC, and as far as language is concerned, language is just qualifying in nature and marks are not taken while preparing the merit list. And language is again up to 10th level only, and the people, they have to appear in English language one, and then Hindi, not Hindi, one of the Indian languages. So the people also take Marathi, Bengali, etc. If they are not from Hindi domain, and these two language paper are there only up to 10th level, and you just need to qualify these papers. And then we have a subject of essay. Again, there is no special subject of essay, but it's a subject in UPSC, and there are some tricks, approaches, and all that we need to study for essay. At last we have optional subject. So optional subject, I told you while discussing the plan of UPSC that optional subject depend on person to person. So different people go for different optional subject. Let us see what are the option subject available in UPSC. So we have agriculture, animal husbandry, anthropology, botany, chemistry, civil engineering, commerce, economics, electrical, geography, geology, history, law. Then we have management, mathematics, mechanical engineering, medical science, philosophy, physics, PSIR, psychology, public administration, sociology, statistics, geology, and literature. So that's all for all the subjects in UPSC. Again, some words for caution for you, that in UPSC topics are more important rather than subjects. So till now I have told you about approximately 20 subjects that you need to focus on UPSC, but again this is not a thumb rule. For example, many people will split ancient India from medieval India. Many people would split even polity and economics and all in form of microeconomics. So that's a different issue, but here I have just listed out all the subjects that you need to know before preparing for UPSC, or even you are preparing for UPSC. So I hope the things are very clear. So thank you very much. Thank you.